What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the Online Jamily? Jamiroquai 2000 here with the third and final episode for my limited series of the Beginner's Guide to Jamiroquai, everything about Jamiroquai Album 9. And this final episode of the series, I'm going to be speculating and thinking about it and assessing when the heck Jamiroquai Album 9 will be coming out this calendar year of 2026. So let's get into this episode. What is up, ladies and gentlemen of the Online Jamily? Jamiroquai 2000 here with the third and final episode of this new limited series of the Beginner's Guide to Jamiroquai, the ninth Jamiroquai album. And I aspired in this little limited series to bring everybody up to speed who otherwise are new or just joining the Online Jamily around this beautiful planet of ours about the ninth Jamiroquai album, which is one of the most highly anticipated album releases from Jamiroquai, probably all of pop music for this whole year. And it's going to be a busy year for brand new music. But let's get into this third episode of the Beginner's Guide to Jamiroquai, the ninth album. As I mentioned in the first two episodes, looking at the three new songs that were debuted back in the Heels of Steel Tour 2025, which will inevitably end up in some capacity on Jamiroquai Album 9. Then in the second episode, I looked at the social media lore that JK and its many colorful characters had been drumming up on social media in an official sense to hint certain aspects and the sexuals of Jamiroquai Album 9. And here in the final episode of this limited series, I am going to prognosticate on when the heck this album is going to be coming out. And like I said, this album has been waited on for a very long time. This album, like I said, has been hinted all the way back since 2021, and this album has been worked on for literally 6 to 7 years, which is the average album making period for Jamiroquai in our weights. But, you know, I honestly, right now we are coming up on the beginning of March of 2026, and the band have been doing regular updates, at least in a week and a bi-weekly sense, through the individualized Instagram accounts of some of the band members of Jamiroquai, not to mention Jamiroquai HQ social media when they've been ready. But as of right now, here in the latter part of February 15th of 2026, when the recording of this video, they have been really working on residual recording, which, you know, they've been talking about residual recording on Jamiroquai Album 9. The recording sessions for Jamiroquai Album 9, as I recently covered, was started all the way back in March of 2024, and periodically they've been doing lots of studio updates to keep the to whet the expectational appetite of the Jamily via social media, mostly on Instagram. But we do appreciate all of these updates. But right now, the album looks like, given that they're doing residual recordings, or when the heck this album's going to be going into final mixes. I mean, the band members have been hinting that we're about to cross the finish line. We're in the last leg of the process of getting this album done and getting into final mixing, because final mixing for any new album can take literally months, and this came mostly about 1 to 2 months with Jamiroquai, depending on how many songs that they've recorded and how many songs they plan on putting out on this album. But it's looking like Jamiroquai Album 9 could be, at least for right now, logistically speaking, Jamiroquai Album 9 looks like it could be coming out in a early to mid-spring of 2026, or maybe an early summer of 2026, because so far Jamiroquai has booked nearly 11 to 12 tour dates for the European Summer Festival Tour. They also have an appearance in Japan coming up in August, which is a return of Jamiroquai to the country of Japan on tour in nearly 9 years. And of course, later this year in September, Jamiroquai is going to be making a triumphal return to, in some aspect, to South America, with a return to rock in Rio and Buenos Aires, Rio de Janeiro of Brazil. Sorry, my mistake there. A little brain fart. But anyway, so Jamiroquai got 3 tour legs so far planned for touring this year, so I'm sure they're going to be supporting Jamiroquai Album 9. But it would not be surprising if this album, if they continue to do residual recording and then go into final mixing and then finally sign with a record label and get this album with an actual functional release date. I'm thinking it could be, the earliest could be mid-spring 2026, would be sometime between, let's just say optimistically, March to May, with the latest possible tour, the latest release date for both the first single and the album sometime probably between May to June of 2026. And the reason I've been constantly changing these release date windows is because of whatever updates the band have been giving us. And they have literally been residual recording instrumentation, and they have been in the studio with doing reel-to-reel, which basically means they have been doing some final album mixing in between the residual recording, probably adding more instrumentation to some of the already pre-existing material. So, you know, I've been in touch with Jamiroquai HQ at least bi-weekly to get updates on where they are standing right now. But they have been nothing but generous in giving us studio updates just to, you know, keep us up to breast on what they've been doing in the studio. But optimistically, right now, at least for right now, I honestly think it's going to be a mid to late spring, early summer release in 2026 for Jamiroquai Album 9. But let me also note, first single releases from a new set album usually predate the release date of a Jamiroquai album by at least 1 to 2 months. So if you're going to break this down, speculatively speaking, this is speculative, okay? So please do not take any of this as confirmation of anything in an official sense, because everything as official will come out of the band, or the band will articulate to me, and then I will pass it on my future content here on YouTube. So if a first single release comes out from Jamiroquai Album 9, that could be out maybe in May, maybe March, April, May period. The album could be coming out probably. I would not be surprised if the latest date that they do is the beginning of the European Summer Festival tour throughout many locations of Europe, which I believe it's at 9 tour dates for that tour delay, will be sometime near June or in the middle of June of 2026. And I know many members of the Jam are expecting this album to be out in the first quarter, but with the way they're recording and the way the social media updates have been, and I'm sure there are going to be many of them coming that will probably deficiate the series here on my YouTube channel. But I thought the immediacy of putting out this series to get everybody up to speed on what's been happening with Jamiroquai Album 9 was very, very sorely needed, at least for new people coming into the fan base. But yeah, it's looking basically like that for the release schedule for Jamiroquai Album 9. But like I said, this is all purely speculative, purely just my own speculation. I've only started doing YouTube content myself. I've been in the Jamly for over 30 years, online and offline, but I only started doing content nearly 10 years ago. So I kind of seem to be the go-between between the band's management and the fan aspect. So if anything changes, I will certainly be covering it on a future video here on the Jamir Fan 2000 YouTube channel. So be sure to like and subscribe to my channel to keep updated on all the latest updates as they come. And I'm sure as we go into March and April, news is going to be a torrent. It's going to be a waterfall of information to come, and I will try to disseminate it to the best of my ability in future videos here on the Jamir Fan 2000 YouTube channel. But as always, this is Jamir Fan 2000. I hope you enjoyed this nice limited series, getting you all up to speed on what's happening with everything on Jamiroquai Album 9. And may I say that the band appreciate everybody in the channel for being so patient with them as they work very hard and meticulously on this album, because Jamiroquai, JK, and Matt, they like to take their time on making sure that this music and new sensibilities and new lyrics that are going to come is going to make everybody in the family so happy and appreciative of the creative ability and the nearly 30-year longevity of Jamiroquai. And we should always trust JK and Matt and everybody in the band on this new album. I know I have, and I hope you do in your own time. But as always, this is Jamir Fan 2000. I'll be sure to link down in the bottom of this episode of the Beginner's Guide to Jamiroquai, the 9th album, the link to my previous nearly 10-episode Beginner's Guide to Jamiroquai, covering everything about Jamiroquai, from the symbolism, the lyrics, the composition, the album, everything, so you can catch up to speed and learn everything about Jamiroquai in your own time here on my YouTube channel. So be sure to check out that goodness in your own time. But as always, this is Jamir Fan 2000, and I'll see you again really soon with more Jamiroquai related content here on the Jamir Fan 2000 YouTube channel. Bye-bye, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you around.